we are live with the one and only drum roll, Stephanie Liu. And so today we are going to discuss the recent Facebook redesign. And I'm really excited about this topic. And if you are joining us live, let us know which platform you are joining us live and which country, which state you are joining us from. And I'm right now should be live on Facebook, on my personal page, on my public page, and on YouTube, on Periscope. And so let us know. Hey, Mike is here. Thank
Yay,
you
Mike!
so much. Yes, awesome. And more people are going to join in. And so before we get started with our Q&A today, let me just introduce our amazing guest, Stephanie, to you guys. Just only a few seconds. And Stephanie is a live video strategist and is also a speaker. She has amazing energy. I had the great honor to see Stephanie in action at the recent Social Media Marketing Examiners Conference in San Diego. She was commanding the entire stage with her wisdom and energy. It was really amazing. And she also is the founder and the host of her own live streaming show, Lights, Camera, and Live. And so I'm sure she's going to tell us more about her live streaming show and what she does. And today we are going to discuss the recent Facebook redesign and what does it mean to us who are content creators and digital marketers. So really excited, and thank you so much for joining us live, Stephanie.
Oh my God, I'm excited to be here. I've been seeing you blow up everywhere, and it's just like, it's I! Dude, you are everywhere. And I feel like we're gonna see each other at Social Media Week Lima, right?
Yes. Super excited. Yes. So do you want to add anything to my very brief introduction?
I think, you know what, I probably think you covered everything. But for those of you who don't know, in addition to live streaming, I'm also a digital marketing strategist. I'm an ad agency veteran, so I've actually spent the last decade and a half in the ad agency trenches. So everything that I'm sharing with you today is also stemming from the fact that I come and I approach everything from a strategic mindset. So instead of just looking at things in terms of fear, it's more of well, how do we adapt? And how do we take what we learned from the Facebook FA conference and make it actionable for our clients? That way we all can be strategic partners.
Okay. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I was just doing some research as I was getting ready for this interview. I watched the live streaming video you did. It was great. So much content, so much information, and I can't wait to get started. And Chris is here. Chris Straub, thank you. And Sue is here. And Vicky, everyone, thank you so much for joining us live. And let us know if you have any question, and leave your question in the comment section. And I will make sure to ask your questions. So first, you just came back from the recent Facebook 8 conference. Give us a quick highlight of the conference. What are some of your major takeaways?
Okay. Facebook FA is amazing, you guys. Let me just say this. It's one of those things where, you hear so much about Facebook. It's a part of your daily life, especially if you're a digital marketer. And aside from all of the announcements, I have to say that it has to be one of those things where you have to at least attend once, because there's something about being in that same room as Mark Zuckerberg and the whole entire product lead teams and all of the developers that are creating these products for us to go ahead and communicate to one another and build our communities as well as build our businesses. So if you guys ever have the chance, by all means, please try to make it out there. I would love to have other marketing people to geek out with. Not alone, I was totally geeking out with the coders too. But as far as everything that happened at the Facebook FA conference, there's so many different announcements. And I feel like most people concentrated only on one aspect, which was really the Facebook FB5 design, right? But there's other things to be mindful of. And I would say that the key theme is that the future is going to be private. And that was the main thing that Mark was trying to address, is that the way that people interact online these days, it's through stories, it's through Messenger, it's through group chats, and it's activities that's happening in private groups, closed groups, public groups, and that's where he's seeing the shift in how people are behaving. And so I thought that was really interesting. And so because of that mindset, because of that data, because of everything that they've actually seen happening across all of their products, right? Not only just Facebook, but also on Instagram and Messenger, what's happening on WhatsApp. They took that knowledge and they applied it to every single one of their channels. And now there's a whole new slew of updates that are going to be happening. So understanding that as the undertone is going to be super important for most marketers.
Wow, that is awesome. And I just got this notification from Vicky. So we are also live, guys, on LinkedIn. Okay.
Yay!
I need to tell my husband. Dan, if you are watching this right now, go to LinkedIn to engage with my audience. So this is awesome. I love all those new features. And I wonder if anyone in the live audience, you guys have any updates regarding the new feature. Also, I want to give a quick shout out to Suzanne from Scotland, Chris Straub. I have so many people, so many comments. You guys, let us know if you have a Lori and Vicky and a bunch of people on my public page here. So thank you.
You're so
and welcome
popular.
to the
I
show.
look at your
Come
show.
on.
Oh my god. Oh, you're like, oh my god, I've got this whole audience. You are like the queen. Look at
Come
you.
on.
Queen, multi-streamer across multiple platforms. People can't get enough of you. They got to follow you everywhere. You're the bomb.
Oh, come on. I'm just trying to catch up with you, Stephanie. Yeah.
Girl, you already surpassed me. Stop.
So anyway, so before we dive into the specific changes, and let's for a second discuss Facebook business page. What's going on with the Facebook business page? Should we not use it anymore? There was no mentioning, there was no update. So give us what's your take on this?
Yeah. Well, so when you think about Facebook F8, it's really more for the developers and the products that they can use. And Facebook has always said that their product is for the users, it's for the community base. And yes, there's marketers and business pages that are there as well and have a presence. But really, majority of the F8 announcements were more geared towards the user themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as like business pages, not much was really updated in that sense, right?
Yes.
A lot of people are saying, well, do I need to abandon my Facebook business page now for a Facebook group? And it's like, well, no, because there's still advantages to having a business page, like the very fact that it is tied to your ads account. You need that. So it's still important to have a Facebook business page in that sense. And there's lots of features and functionalities that most people don't realize is available on their business page. Like, for example, your business page has different page templates. So you could have a specific template if you are a video content creator. If you're a video content creator, that helps you in terms of the watch pages, getting your content there. There's other things that you could do by like applying for your business page to have access to the creator studio. That's going to be really important if you are publishing videos, right? Because with the video ranking update that happened last week, right? Facebook is now going to be ranking content by how often you're able to bring in users from one week to the other. And you're able to see that data in the Facebook Creator Studio. So if you have the video creator template, you'll see that, right? So there's lots of things that you can do to enhance your business page. Like, for example, if you were to go to my page, you'll notice that I have my groups on there. So I have the 360 marketing squad, I have the social media strategist, and then I have my paid group for my paid members to help them with the actual mastermind. So there's just certain things that you can do on your business page. And then from there, really, it's how are you going to engage your audience off of your business page? Or like kind of like what my girl Bella Vasta likes to say, be the destination and have them
be the
destination.
Yes.
Be the destination. Yay, Bella. Right? Because her analogy is that your business page, your Facebook business page is like your front porch, well manicured lawn, all of that good stuff. But where's the party? The party is going to be in your Facebook group. So I wouldn't say abandon your Facebook business page, because that's where you get majority of your insights. That's where you have the ability to go ahead and do Facebook ads. So don't abandon it.
Yeah, I heard this is really great. I don't know if this is a rumor or this is true. Let me know. So some people have been saying that we should start creating Facebook groups using our personal profile instead of using our business page. Is that true or just like rumor?
Say that one more time.
So using, you know how like now, like I use my business page to create a Facebook group. So what I heard from some people is that some people are using their personal profile to create a business page. Is
Using a
that
personal profile to create a business
to
page?
create a Facebook group?
Oh, I haven't seen that. Honestly, I haven't
Okay.
seen that. I've never tried to create I mean, when I first started Social Media Strategist, I'm pretty sure that was created under me as Stephanie Liu, my personal profile. And then
Mm-hmm.
down the line, I was able to link my business page to
Yes,
the group,
that's what I
which,
did. Yeah.
yeah, which gives me the advantage of having the group actually show up under my actual page. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe that's not true because I that's what I heard from some people with this Facebook trying to de-emphasize the business page, and some people were saying that we should either not link our business page to our Facebook group or using our personal profile to create a Facebook group. I don't know, like I have never done that myself.
I
Just
mean,
want to double check with you.
yeah, what I will say, what I've noticed across all of my groups is this, is that if I posted as my personal profile into the group, like any updates about Facebook or any social media, I tend to get more reach within my group posting as my personal profile. I did a
Mm,
test for like a whole entire week where I posted as my business page, and for some reason I wasn't getting as much organic reach or eyes on it had it been my business page. So that's like really the only difference that
that's
I've seen.
interesting. That's interesting. Yeah. Okay. Now let's talk about some of the new highlights and refocus of this Facebook redesign. And one is story, another one is group, another one is events. I hope we have time to dive into each of them. So let's
Yeah.
begin with Facebook stories. And what's going on with Facebook stories? Give us a quick highlight, Stephanie.
Well, with Facebook stories, it's one of those things where they started to see from the shift, like Snapchat is getting so much engagement in terms of stories. They moved that over to Instagram, and now it's coming over to Facebook. And well, it's actually been on Facebook. And what's funny is that most people say, well, I haven't done a Facebook story because no one is watching. No,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's what I've actually tried, what I've seen for my specific audience is that the same level of engagement that I get on my Facebook stories versus Instagram stories is starting to level off and be about the same. So
Mm-hmm.
that's really important to me. And there's different ways that you could go ahead and add stories to your page. So whether you're on your business page, you might notice that like your icon now has like a little plus sign on there. That's one of the ways that you can add stories there. If you have a Facebook event, like let's say promoting this show, you could take that same exact story and promote it over into your page and go about it that way and get that type of engagement. Yes, I love that you're pulling it up.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So that's the new redesign, right? Like you can see,
that is
like
the
kind of.
yeah. So that is the new redesign. And so if you're looking at this, you'll notice that at the very top, stories get prime real estate. So that's an opportunity for brands when they're developing content is start to think about episodic content and how you could develop them into stories.
Wow.
But what's really interesting though, is that even in Facebook groups, you could create stories, right? But
Mm-hmm.
in the current Facebook mobile app design, you don't see any placements for stories there yet. So that's where I think most people need to start thinking about that too. Like, do
Wow.
you actually create stories in your group? Do you have a group?
Yes, I do. I never. So I'm just being honest with you. What I do normally is I share my Instagram stories
Yeah.
to Facebook. I don't even create Facebook groups that like Facebook stories that much. I prefer Instagram a lot better than Facebook. And like yeah.
Yeah,
So
I've done some things where I usually start off like let's say from like a story creation, like what's my process, right? So generally whenever I do any type of ephemeral stories, it does usually start off on Instagram. And then if it's something that I feel like my Facebook audience would usually resonate with, then I'll share it over to the Facebook business page. But then there's also the strategist group. So what
mhm.
I'll go ahead and do is I'll just download that same exact story and upload it over to the group, maybe add some more behind the scenes highlights, things of that sort that relate specifically to strategists. Because what I understand is that my audience on Instagram is very different from my Facebook business page and very different from what's happening in the strategist group.
Mm. Oh wow, that's some, I really admire you for doing that, and I do think that we should. It is that something we should do to really customize our stories for each page, personal and group, so that each person within each platform watching our stories can gain unique value.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so much that you can do. I mean, there was this whole entire session about how to make your stories much more engaging, much more impactful.
Mm,
And like one of the best people to talk about Instagram stories, if that's your go-to, definitely talk to Jen Herman about that because she is the queen of
mhm,
Instagram and she could give you insight on that. But I will tell you that I've definitely been testing around with different stories formats,
mhm,
right? So just using like the general from your phone, like how does that look? What type of engagement do I get from that? And then sometimes I'll use templates. I use Shaker Video,
yes.
SHAKR. Yeah, and that one's really cool too. And what's nice is that if you did want to pay attention to how your Instagram stories are performing, if you have Agora Pulse, you could actually see the analytics behind it. And
Mm,
what's interesting is because Facebook doesn't really give you as much information about your Facebook stories insights. For those of you who have never done this before, you just go to your insights and your publishing tools and you'll see your stories there. Um, you could take what you're learning from Instagram and then apply that to how you're creating stories across Facebook.
wow. This is like now after this interview, I'm going to treat my Facebook stories a lot more seriously and to really, what I do, how when you are doing the post update on Facebook, you can share on your main newsfeed and also share on stories. That's
Yeah.
typically what I do. But I don't
Yeah.
think that's a very good practice in the long run. Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the you got to figure out like your whole process. I feel like with everything that just happened with Facebook, most social media agencies need to revisit their process and their
Mhm.
workflows, right? Because if Facebook is saying most people are engaging through stories, through Messenger and through groups, we all have to kind of sit back and say, okay, well, this is the first half of the year. We need to go back and take a look at our social media strategy for 2019 and what are we going to shift, right?
Mhm.
Because Facebook is completely different from when you were probably putting that strategy together back then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We have a question from a different team. And guys, we literally have about a dozen people on every single platform. So just be patient with me if I miss your question. So maybe you can try to ask your question again so that I can make sure to ask our amazing guest, Stephanie. So here's a question, Stephanie, and team is asking you if you have any suggestions in terms of how a
Realty.
realty might use a Facebook group.
So like realtors, I'm
Oh,
imagining
okay.
that what he's saying is like real estate, um, how they would use a Facebook group. And hey, Tim, so good to see you. You know, I don't personally work with realtors, but I will tell you this, Tim, in the social media strategist group, I was actually really quite surprised to see how many people work with realtors in the strategist group and just following along that conversation. Um, what I noticed is that they were saying that if a realtor could go ahead and create a community specific, a group specific for a community about that niche, what are some family events, what are some sales that are going on, what are some community events that highlight that neighborhood, then that becomes this go-to destination for whoever lives there. Like I live in a certain part of San Diego, and if I knew that there was a park that has like, you know, fun games that my daughter could be a part of and have play dates and things like that, I would be really interested. And if I knew that there was a realtor that knew the ins and outs of my neighborhood, I'm starting to build that relationship and that affinity towards that specific realtor.
That's good. That's interesting. Yeah, yeah. But I think many of the strategies you mentioned here, Stephanie, like customizing our stories can be applied to many like different industries. So here's another question from Tony, and he was asking like if you have any like recommendations for switching our strategy
Oh my
now.
gosh. Yeah, you guys, there is so much that is changing, right? So if you think back to everything that we've ever heard about specifically for Facebook, right? Like we always knew that like video tends to get more engagement, right, on Facebook versus a photo album, photos, links that drive people off, right? That's generally what research says. You may have different stats. I actually have one client that actually gets more engagement off of links that I thought was funny. But if Facebook is shifting towards us to say we should be doing more video because that gets the most engagement, then that also opens up the door for doing live video, because we know that live video tends to get 10 times more comments than any other
Mhm.
type of content type, right?
Absolutely. I see that. Yes.
Yes. So in that respect, that's where I was always going with my clients, was like, okay, well, we're going to do like this 1 minute video every Monday. Every now and then we'll do a live video. And that was kind of like our process, our content creation. We would do a live video and then we would repurpose that into other social media bites that we could put across the net, right? Well, and then this is what was really interesting, is that last week Facebook says, okay, we're updating the video ranking. And this is where
Mm.
I feel like most people kind of were just like, oh, all right, whatever. But I was like, no, wait a second. This actually impacts me as a video creator, as a video content creator, as well as a live streamer. So when sitting down with my clients, it was more or less like, listen, if we're going to do video, then we have to create episodic content, because
Mm.
Facebook is going to ding us if we're not able to bring an audience from one week to the other, right?
Good.
So one
Yes.
strategy that we had talked about is, let's say for the month of June, and I'm a realtor, and I want to talk about home improvements that you can do to increase the value of your home, right? Let's say
Yes.
that's the theme. Well, then week 1 is going to be this topic, week 2, week 3, and week 4. That's going to be my episodic content. The way that I would switch this up, and I've done before in the past for this client, is I would create a Facebook event and says, hey, we have a 4-part series to teach you about X, Y, and Z. So
That is fun.
now, yeah,
Mhm.
so now I'm getting people watching from one video to go to the next video. That helps me out with the first ranking update. The second update that they had for the video was the fact that videos that are at least 3 minutes long get the most weight. So now you're
Mhm.
thinking, wow, all those 1 minute videos that I was creating with Lumen 5 or with Headliner, I now need to extend that. Now I need to be more of a storyteller. So that's something to
Mhm.
keep in mind as well. You know, I was talking to my client, I was like, how can we still tell this story about our brand, but make it 3 minutes long? So that's
Yeah. Yeah.
something for everyone else to think about too. The other thing that happened in the update was that Facebook flat out said videos that just have static images or are repurposing other videos that don't add
Mm.
any other value are going to get demoted as well. So again, this makes me think of like the wave videos or the other ones that just kind of like take your blog post and turn it into a video and it's all static images. Well, how is that going to impact you? These are things that we have to be
Wow.
thinking about as marketers when
That
it
is
comes to video.
crazy. Wow, I just think it is going to be more and more challenging and takes at least more time to produce good quality original content. We really have to think how much value this piece of content is bringing to our community. Wow,
Yeah.
like this, yeah, yeah. So this is great. So here's another question from Mitch Jackson. Thank you for joining us. And he is asking if Facebook will allow us to create and target paid ads to Facebook groups and or specific members of groups. Oh,
You
that's
know,
interesting.
that is a very interesting question, because everyone's kind of like, all right, groups, if groups is going to be the focus for Facebook and all of that, will we start to see ads in Facebook groups? That's something that actually wasn't brought up over at Facebook F8. But what I will tell you, Mitch, that was really, really interesting is that the user experience on Facebook is going to be tied to a user's interest, topics, and the groups that they're affiliated with, because there are other tabs that are being created in Facebook itself, like the events tab and the local news tabs, even the marketplace. Those things, even dating, PS, by the way, but those things are
Oh,
using what groups you're a part of. They're using that as like interest and category. So I would imagine, Mitch, when you're going to be doing Facebook ads, you would have the opportunity to go ahead and put additional placements into your local news, into marketplace, into events. And
mm,
that's going to be really interesting. I mean, because if you're going to have a dedicated tab specifically for events, and again, you know, let's talk about realtors, and you want to have, let's say, what do you call it? An open house, right? You would probably want that to go ahead and show up in the community tab, the local tab. That way people actually see it.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so I just saw this comment from my dear friend Stella. Somehow I couldn't show her comment. So she was asking, hold on, let me. The comments are so fast, and I think I definitely
I'm just like,
need.
wow, I'm impressed by you, and even just kind of like going through all of them. I know how it is to be on the other side
I
as the
I
host.
I have decided it's time for me to hire someone to help me with this because it's really really fast. And so here's a comment from Stella. She's asking, it is like video algorithms that will affect our placing on any platform. So I think what she was trying to say is this emphasize on more and more video content. Will that affect us in terms of the if we are not producing content, will our content still have the same rate, or we should just everybody just start producing more video content? What
You know, at the heart of it, right? So like last year at Facebook FA, it was very much about like creating content that sparks meaningful conversations. That was like the theme, right? And that's where we all did like live video, um, and we would do those certain things. As far as how is video going to show up in other places, they flat out said in last week's update that these video ranking updates are going to impact how your videos appear on the watch tab, in newsfeed, in like just everywhere pretty much at
Mhm.
this point. And I wish I had like the thing up here because I was like, oh, I had it all in there.
Yeah. Actually, I
If
was
you wanted
trying
to
to.
pull up the link, yeah, if you wanted to pull up the video ranking update, that's definitely worth a read.
Yeah, definitely. I will try to find it. And also, I remember this, I think it's a study by Cisco. By 2020, like 82% of the internet traffic is going to be video content. So I
Yeah.
think that's kind of an overall trend. And I see that I play with different types of content. My video content definitely gains the best traction on multiple platforms, on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn for sure. So I think, yeah, so maybe it's time that we really start to embrace. And I think another question that I hear a lot is, with this emphasis on more video content, disappearing content, do we need to worry about like to make our videos so perfect, right? Like
Uh,
actually yesterday I have this person who said I'm about to go live on LinkedIn, but I'm a perfectionist, right? Many people say that. So what do you think? Like what matters in terms of what are some benchmarks that we should think about to go live or producing like video content, Stephanie?
so the first one really, right, if you're thinking about the Facebook video ranking update is how much of your content is actually getting people from one week to the other, right? And then from there, you'll have to test to see if live video is helping you with that,
Mm-hmm.
or certain topics are helping you with that. There's just so many different variables. And this is where like I hit up Mike Alton over at Agorapulse. I'm like, this would be a really interesting thing to test, because it's not just the format, right? It's not just will live video get me more ranking week after week. It's live video and specific topics, right? So now you
Absolutely.
have to split test topics, and you have to think about like your promotional plans. Like, so even for me, like I would usually create like one Facebook event that promotes one live video. With this new update, I'm thinking to myself, now have to think about what am I going to talk about for the whole entire month of June to get people from watching from one week to the other. The other thing that kind of like made me stop and think as a content creator was I usually only go live twice a month, right? So for me not to go live the second week, it's like, oh, is that going to hurt me? So we
Mm,
had this conversation with the client where it's like, all right, well, how about we do this? How about one week we do a live video? The second week, we'll do a 3-minute video to recap the first
mm.
video and then tease the second week, or the third week. The third week will be a live video. And then the last video for that month will be a 3-minute video recapping the whole entire thing. And then, and then promoting what the theme is going to be for the next month.
Yeah.
This was like a whole conversation with the client. This is going back to your content calendar and realizing, this is going to change. And they're definitely not pushing for one-off topics at this point.
Yeah, I love this comment. And in terms of frequency, and I used to kind of stop in summer because
Mhm.
we travel a lot with our children, summer camp, all those things. But I discovered once I stop just to come back, it is almost like restarting a new show. And I think
Yeah.
that consistency, but at the same time, you have to figure out a consistency that works for you. So like this summer, I decided to just keep going, not stopping, because it's just like so much work to restart again, to remind people. So I really admire you, Stephanie, for doing this, because I think doing this twice a month, every other week is hard, right?
Oh, it is
Like
hard. Yeah. Oh my God.
it is like
It
on a
totally is.
weekly basis, it's easier. I nowadays I don't have to remind people that much. People kind of remember this, but
Yeah.
every other week, people don't remember things that well with so many things going on. So I
Yeah.
really admire you for doing that and think through this. It shows how intentional you are with content creation. I think that is an important tip all of us can learn from. Be more intentional with the content
Yeah.
we're producing.
And it's one of those things too where like even after just saying that, right? Like even just like sitting in that meeting with my client, and I was like, okay, if we're going to continue to do video, this is how I would shift it. This is how I would shift my strategy. Even in just having that conversation, right? We were thinking about like, man, the time and the resources. And honestly, like for me, it's well, what if I don't produce video every single week? Is that going to really hurt me in my business? Because to be very honest with you, I've always said this on stage is that by the time I'm done going live, I always get a new client, right?
Mm,
So for me, it's also about knowing what your publishing schedule is going to be and how much impact that's going to have in your business. Because again, if you're just creating
absolutely.
content just to create content because you just want to get engagement, but that engagement isn't really driving a hard ROI or really moving the
Absolutely.
needle in your
Absolutely.
business, then just like I guess what I'm trying to say is like really rethink your strategy overall. Don't let
Mhm.
this update crush you.
Just like,
Still, yeah, like still understand that there's probably other
oh
platforms
my God.
like for me like I do live video and then I'm able to take that content and chop it up and put it across all the other platforms. What I'm doing on all those other platforms, they didn't have an F8 conference. So what worked then can still work on those other platforms. It's just
Absolutely.
knowing that what's happening on Facebook is going to shift. And PS, by the way, for those of you that are on social media retainers, if this is going to require more time for you to create video content for your clients, I hope that you are revisiting your statement of work, your SOW, to
Mhm.
factor in all of that time for video content creation.
Oh, I love this. Like, just so many great comments. And this comment I actually see a lot. So many people are camera shy. They think that, video content is not for me. And like a lot. I see actually similar comments, just like a lot. So what do you want to say to those people, Stephanie, who don't feel very comfortable being in front of the camera, or feel like they may just like it's not their thing?
Yeah, there's certain things that are advantageous about being in front of the camera, right? It's knowing that if you are confident in what it is that you do and in knowing that you could sell a house in 30 days just like that,
Look at that
people
passion.
yeah, like people are going to gravitate towards that, right? They're going to gravitate towards that more than just like
Oh God.
an image. So just bear that in mind. Like, know that that is something that you are missing out on. And if you were to go ahead and create content based off of confidence instead of fear, how much impact would that make for you and your business? So just keep that in mind, right? The other thing is that you don't always have to be on camera if you want to do video. So, I've got like this
Mm,
amazing DJI Osmo Pocket,
that's
which
great.
is like
Yeah.
smaller than the size of my hand, you guys. Everywhere I go, I'm always shooting B-roll. I could
Mhm.
just take it around with me. I could have a voiceover. I don't actually have to show myself on camera. I've seen other people where they do some amazing screen casting, right? You could use loom.com where it just shows your profile photo and then you're showing your screen to show like, hey, this is how I use StreamYard. And then boom, 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 boom. They're still
Mhm.
engaging with you and you're still getting that 3-minute time
Yeah.
span, but you're delivering content that's really important. So that's what I would generally say to people in terms of you know, if when it comes to video and if you're just like, I don't want to be on camera, be aware that you are making that decision based off of either
Mhm.
confidence or off of fear. Because it doesn't necessarily have to be you. You could hire talent if you wanted to, right? But what would happen if you were able to empower yourself to stop thinking about what other people are thinking and take ownership of who you are and just accept that, right? Because what happens is that when you are selling your business, your services, the person that's handing over the proposal is you, right? It's freaking you, dude. So they want to know you.
I just love you. It's so good. Yes, go ahead. Yeah, keep going. Yeah. It's like exactly. So like I'm just catching up on this comment from April, and she was saying that the reason why people love live video content is I love live video content is really because of this co-creation. Like you guys right now are telling me the questions that I need to ask. I only ask 2 questions from my list of questions. So this is now just my show. I really see this as our show. I bring in Stephanie and offer us a platform that you guys get to know me and get to know her, and most importantly, offer value to the community. And I think when I started, my show was about education. Then I noticed nobody was watching, so I changed my focus. Really, just like this platform and like co-creating content, and I just I just love this. Yeah, I think
Yeah, live videos, it's fun. It's amazing because it's not just about you. It's about creating content that your audience wants, that they crave. It's also giving them exclusive access to asking the questions that they've always wanted to ask. Because let me tell you, if you try to hit me up and you're like, Stephanie, I want to ask you 20 questions about live video, there is a consulting fee. That is a part of that, right? But when you
yeah,
have a guest that is able to hop on the show and drop their knowledge for free, that's why live video is so captivating. That's why
yeah.
live video is going to mesmerize your audience. That's why people would most likely go and watch your live video week after week.
Definitely, definitely. And so here, oh, hey, Chocolate Johnny, thank you for joining us. And he mentioned that if you don't want to do a video, you can still do podcasts. And with podcasts, you can get like a clip of the voice message. You can still share on different platforms. And there are many ways that we can, yes, I agree, repurpose content. Yeah, yeah. And so we are almost running out of time. Give us some highlights of the recent changes to Facebook group, Stephanie. I was doing research. There are so many crazy big changes. So share some with us the most important changes that you think we need to pay attention to, and maybe potentially to work with those changes to benefit our business.
Okay, so if you haven't already optimized your Facebook group, start doing it, because if you look at the Facebook mobile app, right, and you go to the groups tab, you'll notice that you now have like a group thumbnail. Take a look at that thumbnail and how does it compare to other groups that are out there? This is something that I had a conversation with the 360 squad, and I was like, hey, it's cute that we have all 4 of us in the cover photo, but in the actual thumbnail, Mike is totally cut off, and that's not cool because we love Mike. So now we have to think about how we're going to redesign that, right? There's other things about like optimizing your group in the sense that, is it linked to a particular page? Are you using the ask member pending questions? Because for me personally, I do have that set up for the social media strategist group, where if they answer the questions and they give me their email address because they want a freebie, I have that connected over to Group Funnel. And now I'm leveraging my group and also building my email list at the same time. So those are some things to be mindful of. There's also knowing the fact that behind the scenes, if you haven't taken a look at your group settings for a while, you should, because
Wow.
there is an opportunity for you to, let's say you have like an online course on Thinkific, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have a Facebook group to support that course. Well, what you could go ahead and do is download the email of all of the students from Thinkific, and then through a CSV file, dude, you guys, you could totally upload that over into the group and automatically approve them. That is such a time saver, and it's so
Wow.
freaking brilliant. There's so much I hate
Okay,
that.
I know, just to
Yeah,
talk about this forever.
I hate that we don't have enough time. But these are conversations that have been swirling around in my head. If you guys haven't noticed, I haven't actually been on social media for a while because I'm catering to my clients first, right? I'm catering to my clients first, and I'm telling them this is what we're going to do and this is what we're going to start testing. So if you haven't seen me for a while, that's why I'm strategizing.
Yeah,
I
I
am
know. I'm
making,
like
yeah,
strategy. I
I'm
know. I
like
know. Yeah.
I'm making plans for like the next half of the year that we're going to crush it. So if you guys haven't had that like half yearly, meeting with your client to talk about this is what's changing in our landscape, then that's a missed opportunity.
Yeah. So based on my research, I think either you mentioned this or another video or article I read. So with Facebook group, and like Facebook is going to give each group based on the nature of the group, like healthcare or education or different things, like unique and specific things tailored to the nature of that group. Is
Yeah.
that the case? That is so amazing.
Dude,
So tell us
it's so badass.
I
Yeah, okay, so you have your health support communities where if I was a mom and I was having issues with breastfeeding and I didn't want to post it myself because I don't want people to, stalk me, right? I could ask the admin to post that question and then they could post on my behalf, which is totally cool. If I was a professional community, I wanted to go ahead and put a job description in there. That's going to make it easier for me. As a live streamer, like what I'm like super interested in is the fact that the buy sell groups, they're going to have this special live video capability where people can
wow.
buy directly from the live video. And I was like, shut up. I
Oh
want
my
that.
god.
Did
That
you not?
is
Did you see that?
no, that is incredible. I love this too.
Okay, I'm like shifting my seat. So this is what's really cool. I like if you imagine if you're saying, okay, you guys, I'm having a flash sale and I'm selling like my planners at Yeezy sales, right? Then as I'm watching, I'm like, oh wow, she added this section to her planner, yada yada yada. I want to buy it right now. You now have this option to go click buy without ever leaving Facebook. Without ever leaving Facebook. You pitch, you sell, you close it, you ship. All through Facebook. It's bananas. It's crazy. Like I really want people like if you're really really interested in the Facebook F8 announcements, take the time to watch the keynote yourself. I know it's kind of nice to go ahead and read like the summaries. Even I have like my own recap, but know that when you're reading those recaps, it's all coming from someone's POV and through a filtered lens. So if you're doing realty, like Tim, watch it yourself and think of how you could take those Facebook F8 updates and tailor it to your specific audience and then become the go-to expert about what's happening with the new Facebook redesign.
Oh, I love this. I love this. Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually I think yesterday I just got this email from I can show you guys from Mike Stelzner, who is the founder of Social Media Examiner, and he actually also give kind of a quick highlight. I don't know if you guys can see this. Like this is can you guys
Not
see
yet.
this?
Not
Why
yet.
face oh,
But I'm
okay.
waiting for it. I'm like, you've got the suspense all built up. So I'm like, girl, show me. I want to see it.
Yeah, like oh hold on, maybe it's not here. I'm trying to
I think when you're
show.
in StreamYard at the bottom, yeah, you have the option to change how you want the show to look like. Yay,
Can you,
StreamYard.
can you see it?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so it's Mike Stelzner here, and he said he took detailed notes, which Stephanie just mentioned. You guys, all of us should watch. I'm going to watch because I haven't watched. And so he said that there was a lot talk about private messages and small groups. So what does
Yeah.
that mean, Stephanie? Small, like how small is small? Like should we give a size limit to our group, or what's
No,
this?
I don't think it was. I mean, honestly, I didn't hear that. So again, like people pick up on certain things that they want to pick up on. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
hear that. If anything, what I walked away from that was this. When we talk about influencers, everyone has always been talking about like the micro influencers, like how many followers they have on Instagram, how many followers on Twitter. I'm now starting to believe that the group admins are now the micro influencers because
Wow,
they are cultivating the groups. They are
wow.
driving that engagement in there. They are creating that content, and Facebook is giving the group admins the tools to go ahead and keep audiences to keep coming back into that group. So if I was a brand, and I wanted to work with micro influencers, I would be keeping an eye on group admins because
Wow.
some group admins, you
That's
know, they have such a large Facebook group, but they might not have like millions and millions of subscribers on YouTube or LinkedIn or whatever, but they have this active community where they're getting 60 plus
oh,
engagement week after week.
amen, amen. I love this because it really reminds me. I feel like we have come to a day and age where we are shifting how we used to do marketing. Like used to be brands talk about themselves, and now even now it's like influencers not even so much in terms of the numbers, the size, but really in terms of this engagement. And we need to go to different like spaces and places to spot those influencers. I love how you mentioned this. This is such a great point because those people are the people that bring the entire community
Yeah.
together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Think about it. Like, and this is why I love to geek out on Facebook so much is because Think about the Facebook community boost that has been happening for the past 2 years or so, right? Where they've been going city after city
Yeah,
talking
yeah. Yeah,
and
yeah,
why.
definitely, 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 definitely. And also, just to respect everyone's time. And also, I want to ask you about this, Stephanie. I don't know if this is also a takeaway for you. Like in Mike Stelzner's email, he mentioned that Mark didn't say a thing about pages. There was no mention of live video and nothing
Oh, no.
about.
Okay. There is a mention about live video.
Okay, so
Again,
we need to tell him, right? Okay,
well, no, it's just like, again, like people only listen to what they want to listen to. But
I
if you
see.
just take what Mark says at face value, and if you actually go and watch the keynote and you watch all the other videos, because it's not just the keynote, you guys, there
Mm,
were like hundreds and hundreds of sessions over that 2-day period. I hope you guys
yeah.
know that. There's dedicated sessions that talk about how to create better stories. There's
Wow.
dedicated sessions that are already recorded that you can access video on demand on how to make groups or how to use Messenger to
That's
build your brand and
amazing.
your bottom line, right? As far as live video goes, we already talked about the buy sell groups and the fact
Yes.
that buy sell groups will have the opportunity to go ahead and purchase product commerce right then and there, right? The other one
Yes.
is Portal, Facebook Portal, which is this standalone device where you could go ahead and make encrypted phone calls to your family, your friends, or whoever you're connected to over
Mm,
Messenger. Not only Messenger, but they're connecting it over to Instagram and to WhatsApp. So now, as a small business owner, I have this opportunity to have one-on-one conversations with my entire audience. And as a developer, I could go ahead and create a product across all 3 of those platforms. As far as live video goes, live video is coming over to Portal. That's what I think is super badass, is because
wow.
Portal has a smart video technology that it literally follows you across the room. I have one. And so for me as a live video content creator, that's cool, because if I wanted to do a product demo, or if I wanted to, if Chef Claudia and I wanted to go ahead and do like a cooking demo, we could do that with a
Mm.
private group. It feels much more engaging because the camera is going to follow me and you could show off the ingredients and all that cool stuff. So there are some updates for live video.
Wow, that's amazing. So, like, where can we go to watch the videos, Stephanie? Just on the Facebook8.com, that page?
Yeah, so if
Or
you go to f8.com, right?
yes.
Go
So
to f8.com and
I'm sharing
then
the link with you guys, everyone, so you can just click on it. Yes. Go ahead.
yeah. And so then you'll be able to see a part where you could see facebook.com Facebook developer videos. I'll try to give you the link, but there is a place on the site where it shows you the whole entire agenda, and you could click in to see what the actual product leads have to say about the products that they're developing.
Mm.
And most people completely miss that because they're only focusing on the keynote. And the keynote, you guys, that's just the executive summary. If you really want to know how things work and why they're doing the things that they're doing, then you'll want to watch the individual sessions. So educate yourself. Don't just take the skinny latte version, right? Like,
Yeah.
get your hands dirty, get in it. As a strategist, like, this is me talking directly to the social media strategist. As a strategist, you have to be a strategic partner if you really want to go ahead and have long lasting relationships with your clients. If you're still just kind of like, oh, we're going to post 5 times a week on Facebook, it's game over for you.
Oh yeah, I love that. Love that. What a nice transition to kind of wrap up the show. And you guys, I share the link on multiple channels. Make sure you check it out. And I'm going to watch all of the videos. So, what is next for you, Stephanie? I know you have been strategizing. So, what is next for you, and how can we support you?
Well, okay. So for those of you that have social media agencies, tomorrow I'm going to be on the Mobile Marketing Virtual Summit. I'm going to be talking about 6 steps to profitably scale your social media services. So if you've been wondering how you can get 6-figure clients, I'm going to show you exactly how I do that. Again, coming from the agency background, girl, I don't mess around. Like, if I'm doing a social media
I
audit,
know.
I'm gonna tell you that when I do a social media audit, it is not $500. It is, you add an extra 0 at the very end. So I'm gonna show you, like, basically how I
Amen.
do that,
I love
why I
that.
do that, and why clients, like, seriously, like, when people talk to me and they're just like, oh, I have a social media client and it's month to month, and I'm like, I don't even play around with that. I get 3-year social media retainer clients, and that's exactly what I'm going to show you tomorrow.
Wow, can you later or like what's the link? I want to share the link or like we can post. Make sure you check out the link. I will post the link later, and you guys definitely don't want to miss this. I know I will be joining. Yeah. So where can people learn more about you, Stephanie?
Well, of course, the best place to hang out is a social media
Face.
strategist group on Facebook. Yeah, so definitely go ahead and find me there.
I'm going to share the link. Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly pay attention to the stories because the stories are the imperfect video, but I'm giving you behind the scenes on everything that I'm working on. And so you can follow along on that journey. It's always good.
Wow, this is like I'm just typing right now. Don't you guys just love
I
Stephanie?
wish I could see the comments. I'm like, oh man.
Oh, this is so good. We have so many people join us. I'm sure I missed like dozens of comments. So thank you for being very patient with me. And I'm going to really help find someone to help me to monitor comments. So thank you so much, Stephanie, for an amazing interview. I love your personality and I love your wisdom as always. So thank you so much for joining us, everyone in the live audience. And thank you again, Stephanie. I will see you guys next Wednesday, the same time and same location. Now we're also live on LinkedIn.
That's awesome.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us.